gets hurt, and guess what? Your demand vanishes because people ain't going to pay up to see these athletes that are ungrateful that there's sports.
So you've just seen how Caitlin Clark's injury sent shockwaves through the WNBA All-Star Game. But what you might not realize is that it wasn't just a setback, it was a full-on financial meltdown. We're talking millions lost almost overnight. And the craziest part? That was only the beginning. While all eyes were glued to the chaos in Indianapolis, something even bigger and far more dangerous started brewing quietly behind the scenes. Reports are now flying in that several WNBA stars are being courted by European teams. And this sudden wave of overseas interest? It's all because of the Clark situation. It's starting to look like the league could be facing a massive talent drain. Now, the WNBA office probably doesn't want anyone saying this out loud, but insiders claim the league might actually be using this instability as a way to push its biggest names to look elsewhere, somewhere with bigger paychecks and real star treatment. To understand why some players might actually consider leaving, you've got to grasp just how deep this financial disaster went and how it exposed the league's biggest flaw. It wasn't just the fans losing faith, it was the sponsors too. The moment Caitlin Clark pulled out of the All-Star festivities, the league's value nosedived. Ticket prices, which had hit a record average of $121, the highest in All-Star history, plummeted nearly 50% within hours, falling to just $64. Think about that. What was once a sold-out event turned into one where tickets couldn't even be given away. Overnight, Indianapolis lost a huge chunk of the $10 million it was projected to earn from the weekend. It proved something the WNBA didn't want anyone to admit. Their entire growth strategy was built around one player, and now that player, their franchise savior, is battered, overworked, and breaking down. That's when European clubs started circling, sensing weakness, like sharks smelling blood. But this story isn't just about money. The real question is, why did the money disappear so fast? Simple. Because the league's most valuable asset, Caitlin Clark herself, was pushed beyond her limits. And trust me, every player in the league is watching this closely. This wasn't a random injury. Clark has already missed 11 games this season with 4 separate muscle issues. A shocking shift for someone who played every single game at Iowa and through her entire rookie season. She used to be unstoppable, an Iron Woman. So, what changed?
Firsthand what Caitlin Clark is worth to this league. Especially.
And get this, on social media, fans and even analysts are blasting the Indiana Fever organization. The conversation's loud and clear. Many believe the team's medical staff and injury management system are nowhere near professional standards, especially when you stack them up against what NBA players get. Even Caitlin Clark's head coach, Stephanie White, has admitted just how brutal the physical toll is on her. She talked about how a full 40 minutes of that kind of intensity, the stops, starts, accelerations, and collisions, pushes a body to the edge in ways most people can't even imagine. So when the league's biggest superstar, someone who used to be virtually indestructible, suddenly starts breaking down in just her second season, the entire WNBA takes notice. Every player is looking around thinking, if the system can't protect her, what chance do I have? Meanwhile, overseas leagues are watching too, and they're ready to pounce. European basketball teams have been quietly waiting for a moment exactly like this, a mix of panic, mistrust, and frustration. And now, they're swooping in. According to credible industry sources, several European leagues are aggressively targeting American players right now, using the WNBA's instability and weak injury management as their biggest selling point. In other words, they're poaching talent while the league's distracted. They saw how Caitlin Clark's situation unfolded, watched players publicly express frustration, and decided to strike while the league's confidence was shaken. So what's their pitch? Well, it starts with the obvious: money. Reports suggest top European teams can match and sometimes even exceed what WNBA players earn. That alone gets attention from players who already feel underpaid and undervalued. That's the hook that gets the agents calling back. But here's the real kicker. The part that's hitting hardest right now isn't about cash at all. It's what Europe's offering beyond the paycheck. Consistency, respect, and professional stability, all the things the WNBA seems to be struggling with. Leaked documents show European clubs are selling players on better treatment, better facilities, and long-term job security. And from a player's perspective, it's not hard to see why that sounds tempting. You just watched the league's biggest star go through repeated injuries and questionable rehab protocols. You've seen the posts, the headlines, the doubts surrounding the Fever's medical team. The whole situation makes the WNBA look disorganized, unprepared, and honestly, a little broken.
Yeah, pay attention. Pay attention. We saw the viewership drop. Ticket sales dropping. Attendance drop.
Now, picture this. You're a WNBA player caught right in the middle of all this chaos and uncertainty, and suddenly your phone rings. It's a call from a EuroLeague or Spanish team, but they're not just offering you a contract. They're offering you something the WNBA hasn't been able to lately: security. They promise world-class medical care, elite facilities, and an organization that actually protects your body and invests in your long-term career. When your own league seems to be grinding down its biggest stars just to survive, that kind of stability starts to sound like a dream. And make no mistake, these overseas recruiters know exactly what they're doing. They're using the WNBA's biggest flaw as their greatest weapon. But the real issue, the WNBA itself is making things worse. The league is basically pouring gasoline on its own fire with internal conflict and mismanagement, all centered around the ongoing drama with the collective bargaining agreement. And this is where things get ugly. The CBA situation has completely eroded trust between players and league executives, and it couldn't have happened at a worse time. The current agreement expires on October 31st, 2025, and those negotiations are already shaping up to be a public showdown. Remember that struggling all-star game we talked about? The players used that national spotlight to make their frustration crystal clear. During warm-ups, they all wore black shirts with bold white letters demanding, "UOS money, give it to us." That wasn't subtle. That was a message, loud, direct, and impossible to ignore. And that message is being echoed straight from the top of the Players' Union. Brianna Stewart, one of the league's biggest stars and a WNBA Players Association vice president, called the most recent CBA meeting a missed opportunity. Meanwhile, Angel Reese didn't sugarcoat it at all. She said, "We won't stop until we get what we want." Tensions are boiling over, the league's credibility is crumbling, and the rest of the basketball world is watching, ready to swoop in and take advantage of every mistake.
Why tickets prices dropped? Because people quit buying the damn tickets. People was asking for refunds for the damn tickets. So you want to know what they had to do? Damn near give them away.
On one side, you've got players boiling with frustration, angry, exhausted, and losing faith fast. But then you turn on the TV and hear Commissioner Kathy Engelbert telling reporters that everything's productive and moving in the right direction. That massive gap between what the league says and what the players feel, that's exactly where European recruiters are making their move. They're taking advantage of the disconnect, planting seeds of doubt, and offering something the WNBA can't right now: respect. Their pitch is simple but powerful. Why keep begging for recognition from a league that won't value you when we're ready to give it today? And this isn't just about mid-tier players chasing bigger paychecks anymore. This could reach the top of the food chain, the MVPs, the franchise faces. Many of them already play overseas in the off-season, but now the fear is that some might never come back. When players see stars like A'ja Wilson getting overshadowed by a one-dimensional obsession with Caitlin Clark, the idea of being the undisputed star in a European league starts sounding pretty good, because over there, they'd be the main attraction, not the afterthought. If even one major name decides to walk away for good, that could trigger a domino effect that cripples the league. This wouldn't just be about losing one player, it would shake the WNBA's global reputation to its core. The reality is crystal clear. If European leagues succeed in poaching America's best talent, the WNBA's entire image and competitive edge could collapse. The product on the court would suffer, ratings would slide, sponsors would bail, and those same players would be out there boosting rival leagues that are being bankrolled by international investors hungry to take over the spotlight. Every superstar the WNBA loses strengthens its competition and weakens its own foundation. If that continues, the league could be reduced to a shadow of what it once was, no longer the crown jewel of women's basketball, but just another stop on the global circuit. The truth is, Caitlin Clark's All-Star absence didn't create this crisis, it exposed it. The WNBA has been sitting on a pile of unresolved problems for years, a broken relationship with its own union, an over-reliance on a single star, crumbling trust in its medical system, and non-stop public drama. Now, the clock's ticking. The league is scrambling to fight off an international threat while trying to fix everything that's been falling apart from the inside. But here's the harsh truth. The poaching has already begun. The exodus isn't hypothetical anymore. It's happening. So now I'm throwing it over to you, the analysts, the fans, the people paying attention. Is this truly an existential crisis for the WNBA? Or is the Players' Union just playing smart, using this chaos as leverage in their CBA negotiations? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to stay ahead of the stories the mainstream media won't touch, make sure to hit subscribe and tap that notification bell. We're here to break down the truth behind the headlines. And if you care about the survival of women's basketball, share this video with every WNBA fan you know, because the only way the league gets through this is if people keep the conversation alive.